What is going on, everybody? Happy Juneteenth. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And to everybody, I hope you enjoyed your time with your son or daughter or your father, making them feel special. And again, happy Juneteenth, a very important holiday here in America now, gladly needed. But unfortunately, on this day, the Mets could not give us a victory as they fall 6-2 to Miami Marlins. They lose the third game out of this 4-game series, and it was going to be a tough game coming in. You knew that with Sandy Alcantara on the mound, top 5 pitcher in the league, in my opinion. This guy just has nasty stuff. I mean, you saw him wheel and being able to throw upper 90s top corner, then the wipeout changeup or slider down low, the sinker moving action. He's got filthy stuff. You knew that coming in. You knew it was going to be a low-scoring game if you wanted to win, and you needed a good outing from Bassitt. And for the most part, Bassitt was solid. I mean, through 6 innings, he had given up no earned runs, had 9 Ks through that time, and was really, really wheeling. But unfortunately, they took him out. They brought him back in for the 7th inning, and things fell apart. And I don't usually like to criticize Joe Buck, or Buck Showalter, Buck Showalter, for really what I really like a lot of his decisions. I think the vibe he gives for the players and for this clubhouse are immaculate. I think he's the perfect manager for us, but you're not going to make every perfect decision. There are going to be mistakes made by managers, even the best ones. They're going to make mistakes, and I thought this was one of, probably, if not one of, Buck's biggest mistakes of the year so far. Bassitt was in the 90s in his pitch count through 6 innings. He closed the door, no earned runs, 9 Ks. He really had to work to get the last couple outs in that top of the 6, getting Birdie to strike out, and then you got the Jazz Chisholm caught stealing, so strike him out, throw him out, which, how sweet are those? Give me a second. Those are so sweet to watch. Strike them out, throw them out. Just a quick double play like that is so satisfying to see. But you work through that, then you get the last out on a ground out from Garcia, and he just another tough inning. This was a lot of work for him. He was throwing a lot of pitches early. He didn't really he had to work hard to get the outs, which is okay. But I think he had a long day. He worked hard. He got through 6 strong. I think you go to your bullpen there. I don't think you got to go to your bullpen there if you're Buck Showalter. And I do like that he has confidence in a guy like Bassitt to be able to go another inning. But I don't think this was the place. You just got your run for him in the bottom of the 6th with Lindor getting a single. He adds to his RBI list, another one, scoring Marte after he hit a line drive gap triple, which was great. But you got to be able to rely on your bullpen. And yes, Lugo did end up giving a grand slam up to Encarnacion, who was in his first hit as a player. He had a great game, by the way. Was able to catch somebody, Nito, trying to stretch a single into a double on a rope off the wall. He showed his cannon of an arm. And then he also gets this grand slam later in the game. He gets a steal, so player of the game is the rookie for the Marlins, if not in Alcantara. But he had a fantastic game. But it wasn't that terrible. I mean, it wasn't a great pitch, but it wasn't a terrible pitch. It was a fastball in the outside corner, and he just went with it. But getting into that situation in the first place, I don't think you send him out. And even if you do send him out, the second hit in that inning was Stallings. He wanted a ground ball for the double play to end the inning. And he got the ground ball, but it went right through the middle. Base hit. I think right then and there, you got to at least take him out, because then he walks De La Cruz and bases loaded. Now you're throwing in a reliever with bases loaded. He has no room, no margin for error. So he's trying to throw pinpoint strikes because he has nothing. He's got, especially in a 1-run game, he's got to be perfect. And unfortunately for Lugo, that wasn't it. I will also say I wasn't a big fan of him going to Lugo. I will say, though, you did use Drew Smith last night, so that would have been the guy I would have chosen. But Lugo has not performed well in those types of situations this year. So I think you got to find somebody else to go to when it's not Diaz, and Drew Smith is not the guy, or he was used. He's already used. You can't use him. He's unavailable. You need another guy there. And that is something I think that the Mets will need. The biggest thing I think the Mets need to find at the trade deadline is another arm, another setup guy, another eighth inning guy. I think you need two. And they got one with Drew Smith, I believe. I want another. I want another arm like that, because you're not getting that from really anybody else in this pen. You got a couple good arms, but not for that kind of late inning. Lugo, you thought could be that guy, but he really hasn't been that guy. On the hitting side for the Mets, I didn't think they had a poor performance. Like I said before, going up against Alcantara, you almost ended up with the comeback in the ninth inning, but it definitely took a while to get going. For the Mets hitters, trying to find a rhythm or try to catch up and understand how Alcantara was throwing today, and you as you saw the game progress, you knew it was a pitcher's duel. I thought, at least, first, if you score first, you're probably going to win this game. And after the sixth inning, like Bassitt said, Marte triple, Lindor singles, 1-0. Great. That's all you really needed. I thought you would need from. I mean, obviously you want insurance runs, 2 or 3. I really thought we would have had this game in the bag, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But against a guy like Alcantara, when you can get 2 or 3 runs against him, that's what it's going to take. You're not putting up a 5 spot against a guy like Sandy Alcantara. I wouldn't bet against it. This dude is one of the best pitchers in the game, and it's going to take a full effort. It's going to take small ball. He doesn't give up home runs. It's going to take a double, a triple, from Marte to leg out that extra base, so when Lindor gets the single, you don't have to worry about the throw home. He's gonna be safe no matter what. Because if you saw Nito got gunned out on going for a double, these guys in their outfield for the Marlins, De La Cruz and Carcion, they have arms. They got cannons back there. So being able to do the little things, stealing and stuff like that against a guy like Alcantara is necessary for the win, to get a ending result. Then going on to the seventh, we do score again afterwards to make it 5-2, but that's good. I will say responding is key for this team. We continue to respond even when we're pushed back down. We push back up. So McNeil gets a double, then Escobar grounds up and moves him to third, and then Guillorme brings him home, so that gets him over. I thought we played a decent amount of small ball. We had an opportunity early in the game with in the second inning. Pete Alonso, that's the only opportunity I think we missed in this game, really. That if we could have scored runs, if we take a lead early like we usually do, we do when we win games. I think it could have been a different story, but in the bottom of the second, you had Alonso double, McNeil single, so it's first and second, nobody out. You got Escobar and Guillorme and Plumber, and they fly out, and then Guillorme and Plumber strikeouts. That was the only opportunity I thought we missed, but you're not going to be able to score on all your opportunities against Alcantara, but you got to take advantage when you get them. That was, I think, a big moment that we missed. And speaking of one of those guys, Nick Plummer, he looked so overmatched this game. And I know he's young, but I think this was eye-opening. I think this was really eye-opening. I mean, there was one of the strikeouts, it was a inside corner. I forget if it was changeup or sinker, but it was just right inside corner, and there was nothing he could do. It was a perfect pitch, but he was definitely fishing outside the zone. He couldn't really catch up to the fastball. He looked overpowered, and this was, I think, the first big showing for Plummer that these are what the best pitchers in the league can do. Him going 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. He's now down to batting 138 with a 194 on base and a 379 slugging. He is, I think, it was 0 for his last 19 or 20, so he's on a big slump. I think you got to send him down. If Dom Smith is maybe playing better, I would consider bringing him up, but I would consider Khalil Lee, bringing him up, maybe giving him a chance. He hit a homer when we brought him up last time. I think that's a that's something you can do. But Plumber really looks overmatched. You gave him he has some action at the big leagues now. He knows what it's going to take, especially versus a guy like Alcantara. I think you send him down, have him work on things, bring him up. So you see how did you improve? You saw what the best in the big leagues did. You saw you can be successful against a lot of players in the big leagues. Now go back down, find your craft, fine-tune yourself, and see how you can improve. So when you get your chance again, what's the difference? So I do think you should definitely I think he definitely needs to go back down and just kind of retool and maybe give Khalil Lee a chance back up in the majors. From the relief side, though, like I said, Lugo, that was a tough pitch to give up. Then he gives up another run, though. So, again, Lugo has not been good in those situations. He's been good in those kind of short, medium reliefs where he goes 2 innings, maybe in like the 6th, 7th, then gets it to the setup guy. He goes to the setup guy who goes to the closer. That's where he's been excelling, where he can go multiple innings because he's a guy who has 5 pitches. He also likes to work with the fastball. He'll throw 94, but then he'll also throw it 90 to catch you out front a bit, so you keeps you guessing a bit. So when he's throwing more pitches, he's usually better. So instead of coming in a situation where there's 1 out, 2 outs, 1 out in the 7th, and there's bases loaded, he doesn't have enough time to really play with you, but use his pitches. It's now. You got to get this guy out now. You got to get the next 2 guys out now. Perfection is needed with bases juiced, and he just hasn't been that guy. So that's why I say we need one of those, especially at I think the trade deadline. I think that's your most important piece you got to go get. Tommy Hunter was definitely cool to see though. If you know him from was it last year or 2 years ago when he got his first big league hit, and it was one of the coolest things I've seen in Major League Baseball. After the game, he was probably the most giddy post-game reaction I've seen that was like non-postseason related. He was great, went 1.2 innings, allowed 1 run, but it was unearned. So I thought he had a solid thing, and it's good to get another arm back. He wasn't sure if he was going to pitch. He had back surgery, so his career was in jeopardy. So to see him back is pretty cool. Joely Rodriguez pitched a third of an inning, gave up a hit, but got the strikeout after that. So, again, not too bad, but, again, with the way the runs were, it was 6-2. Then you come to the 9th, and this is a team that, like I said earlier, you almost made a comeback, and I did... Rally caps were on. I wasn't too hopeful, but when you walked Alonso, then they walk McNeil. You get Escobar up. You just got to... Escobar's got to... He's been in a slump as well. You got to just move the bases. You got to find a way just to move the runners, get on a single, because then you get the tying run to the plate, which would have been Canna, and you're just starting to set the dish for everybody. He didn't need to go for that home run. I prefer him to go small ball, work on just tapping, even if you advance the runners. That's also not a bearable thing. Instead of striking out, you move the 1 out, 2nd and 3rd now. A base hit makes it a 2-run game all of a sudden, with the tying run to the plate. So that was tough. And then Hannah and JD both fly down, ground out, and that was the end of the game. But it definitely shows that they were taking a lot of pitches. They were working the count, still in the 9th, down to 6-2. So if there's any silver lining, which there shouldn't be, you lost the game. But this team never quits. They never fight. And the story has been running all season, but this team does not go away quietly, which is something very important because you never know. You never know when the bats are going to click in the 9th, and you're going to make a couple hits, a dinger, maybe a bloop here, a dinger there, a nice knock here, and all of a sudden you make a comeback. So you can never lose faith in this team, which is something that you've never really had in a long time for the New York Metropolitans. But going into tomorrow, you got one more game left in this series as you try to avoid the split, which would you gotta take 3 out of 4 from the Marlins. You cannot be splitting with the Marlins, the last place team in the division. You've made ground here against a team like the Braves, who lost 2 of 3 to the Cubs. The Phillies, on the other hand, have done very well against The Nationals, they did lose today, though, but these are the teams you got to beat up on, and we usually have. Winning series is key, and this is another series in the balance. You gotta come out with the series win. It'll be on. It's 1:10 tomorrow. Good. Oh, gotta love another day game. Love me some day games. You're gonna have Trevor Rogers against David Peterson. David Peterson will be on the mound only if his wife does not. She is in labor, so if her water breaks, obviously he's going to not be there. But fingers crossed. Not tomorrow. Maybe a couple days later when he's not due to pitch. But yeah, Trevor Rogers had not been the greatest this season for him for the Marlins at a 5.87 ERA, 1.64 WHIP. Lefty matchup, so I'm interested to see if we get guys like J.D. Davis on for the DH spot or something like that. And again, game you gotta win series. You gotta continue to churn 3 out of 4, 2 out of 3. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's jsharf_1216. Instagram jsharf1216. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.